I have to admit something about Jade Cargill, and it's something that I was completely wrong about. In today's video, I'm going to be giving my confession. Now, longtime viewers of this channel, longtime supporters of this channel know that I'm a major Jade Cargill fan, to the point where some have even called me a mark. I truly believe in this woman. I truly saw the vision that WWE laid out for her when they signed her to a massive lucrative deal in the fall of 2023 after a very impressive run in AEW where she was a former TBS champion. Once WWE signed this woman, they made something very, very clear, and now I think it's something that they are pulling back on, and I'll get to that in a minute. Now, up to this point, Jade Cargill has found a ton of success. She's a former two-time women's tag team champion. She was able to find a very successful run as a tag team player with Bianca Belair. She was able to shut up some of the criticism in regards to, okay, instead of being a heel, I'll be a babyface. Instead of no selling, I'll sell a lot. And she was able to capitalize on that going into 2025, which was supposed to be her truly breakout year in WWE. They opted to move her away from Bianca Belair. They opted to make her a single star. They put her in a program with Naomi. They had her go over Naomi at WrestleMania. She won the Queen of the Ring tournament. She beat Asuka in the process. And then, in what was supposed to be a crowning moment, an achievement that very few in this business ever reach and accomplish, she was slated to work Tiffany Stratton for the women's title at SummerSlam. This was supposed to be a easy W for Jade Cargill. This was supposed to be the moment that she blossomed into a main event star, a world champion. And as we all saw, and to the shock of many, including myself, WWE opted to not put the title on her. Instead, they had Tiffany Stratton go over her. And then since then, WWE has insisted on absolutely derailing this woman's career, in my opinion, by not only keeping her in a program with Tiffany Stratton, but also having her lose in the process and or come up short in every time that she challenges for this title. Now, we saw Jade lose clean at SummerSlam. We saw her go to a no contest with Tiffany Stratton on an episode of SmackDown. We saw the horrific and infamous women's triple threat match on the September 26th episode of SmackDown that involved Nia Jax. And now reportedly WWE, once Jade gets cleared, because she got tossed face first into some steel steps and busted open by Nia Jax, we are getting a fourth match between Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill, November 1st, Saturday night's main event, Utah City. Okay, mark your calendars. But I was thinking to myself, okay, I'm trying to come up with a reasonable explanation as to why WWE has all of a sudden gone away from its mega push of Jade Cargill. Am I simply wrong? And I think that I am. And I try to build a very trustworthy opinion on things. Anything that I say, I 100% agree with on this channel. And as a result, there have been instances, and you can go and look at the history, I've had to pivot. I had to change my opinion because circumstances had changed. Credibility is everything to me here on this channel, and I want to keep it 100 with y'all. I was wrong about Jade Cargill. I thought that despite the fact that she was green as goose in this business, breaking in 2021, I thought she could overcome her shortcomings. I thought WWE could hide her weaknesses because I saw the potential. I saw the charisma. I saw the look, everything that you need in this business, I think, to just get over the hump. You have to be able to stand out. She fit. However, WWE does not feel like she has that much of a presentation to overcome her promos and her in-ring ability. And I honestly believe that is the reason why everything all of a sudden derailed with Jade. I think they looked at it and they go, okay, we need a worthy contender for Tiffany. We're very high on Jade. Keep in mind, Dave Meltzer reported this. The WWE Unreal series confirmed this. WWE had Jade Cargill pegged to be women's champion heading into WrestleMania 41 earlier this year. Now, she resulted in that being changed. She was dealing with an injury, I believe a neck injury. She's confirmed that she was dealing with an injury and that she'll need surgery later on. But she had to take time off in the fall of 2024. So that's why they did the whole injury angle. That's why they did the mystery attacker angle, yada, yada, yada. But she was paid to be women's champion going into Mania. And I believe she was slated to work Nia Jax at that WrestleMania. So WWE was full on send. Hey, Jade Cargill's our girl. She's going to be our next world champion, yada, yada, yada. Well, things got pushed back. And what happens when things get pushed back sometimes? Well, circumstances change. Things change. And in this situation, in Jade Cargill's situation, in WWE situations, plans changed. And WWE opted to go in a completely different direction. They put the title on Tiffany Stratton. She cashed in Money in the Bank. She defended it against Charlotte Flair. And I think going into SummerSlam, WWE looked at it and go, look, has Jade been able to progress in the way that we want her to? Not necessarily. She still doesn't have promos down, and her in-ring ability is not there yet. Okay. But I also think the biggest thing that caused WWE to kind of change its plans, to derail its plans, was the fact that they looked at it and they go, okay, we have Jade Cargill, who we think can become a top star. Or we have Tiffany Stratton here, who is a top star and has been able to get over really, really well with the fans to the point where they've turned her from a heel to a tweener. And we haven't changed a single thing about her character or her presentation, right? And they go, who do we want our champion to be? Who do we have enough faith in to be our champion? Who do we have enough credibility and faith in their ability to go out there and perform at a high level against any single opponent in any segment? Well, Tiffany Stratton edges out Jade in that category, in that discussion. And so I think it's a combination of, okay, you had Tiffany Stratton, who was ideally their perfect champion, and you have Jade Cargill, who is not progressing in the way that they wanted her to do. And then, boom, that's where you lie. That's where you land. That's where you're at. I think that's what happened with Jade Cargill. I don't have any proof of that. This is just my theory. This is a theory from a fan of Jade Cargill, not a hater, not criticizing her, not critiquing her. I believe that she can still be a top star. But I'm just trying to wrap my head around what happened, what went wrong, right? What went wrong? And I think that's what happened. She wasn't progressing the way that they wanted her to. They had a built-in champion who had already reached all of the milestones and the progression checklist that they had in place for Jade. And they go, you know what? Tiffany's earned it. Let's just keep it on Tiffany. Now, I don't understand the booking of Jade afterwards. And what do I mean by that? I think WWE went, hey, we don't have anyone lined up for Tiffany as a worthy title contender. We haven't. SmackDown has been an absolute dumpster fire for the last 6 to 8 months. Let's just keep the Jade Tiffany program going. It'll maybe get sympathy for Jade. Maybe we'll turn Jade coming out of this. And we'll keep the title on Tiffany. She's doing a fantastic job. Maybe that's why. I don't agree with it, but I can understand it. I don't agree that you should beat Jade Cargill like she's a freaking drum, right? Like she's in a band class. But I think that's what happened. I think that's what they